When I first saw you, Bob, I thought you were 24 or something like that.
We were just trying to get brownie points.
No, that wasn't it.
All right.
I can't do more math.
I know, I already took a math class. Don't. It's not done, actually. I really love this class.
I know, I was so glad when we didn't have to read chapter 4 in public speaking.
You know
Yeah,
what?
but that's not even that hard.
No, it's just,
The quiz is hard.
I already have 2
The
assignments for
hardest
math
5
tonight.
question quiz.
So this packet, we're going to do today and tomorrow.
I'd be absent.
And I didn't make it small. I don't, just because some of these take some work, but
Lawton, is today's assignment a worksheet?
it is.
Okay.
Did any of you have questions that we've learned lately on the active placers?
Yeah, I have.
yeah, I had a couple from yesterday.
Serious?
Yeah,
No,
but I still forgot.
you did not.
Kind of.
So, but, no.
The assignment took me like 3 hours last night.
You know what, Peter?
3 hours.
I did get my
I
assignment.
I would
I
get.
turned it in. You know what I got done? I got done in ceramics.
Okay, sit your butts.
Miss Hendricks was like, Bet, you can do it.
Dude, Miss
Yeah.
Hendricks is an absolute
Yay!
job.
Miss Botany,
I thought you were gonna say something bad.
Miss Botany,
Yes.
Miss Hendricks and ceramics class saved me from having to leave homework today.
Oh, good.
You gave me 2 packets.
Oh, you don't want to?
Man, actually, no, come on.
I don't use my first one, so.
Can we go over some problems?
Yes, if you want me to.
34.
34?
That ain't no.
I know, like, it was just an equation.
Ooh, there was one where we
Yeah,
had
it's 34.
12x squared plus 12x. I forgot. I didn't know what
We're just going over problems.
This is so cool.
Is this gonna be like a repeat of last year? We have to have these seats because everybody's afraid of COVID again.
We're not debating anything. We're just,
I want to. I lost the best seat I've had in like 4 years.
Well, but you think I snitched? No.
Nolan did not snitch, I swear on my life.
X.
So which one of these fools snitched?
It was Peter.
It is no one
Beat it up.
class.
You just don't wanna,
Miss
someone
Bottom.
take your competition, I see, yeah? Okay.
I can see
Roman just slowly getting around the classroom.
Caleb, Peter's coming down from that life.
Oh, yeah?
He's moved on from the other side.
Are you sure?
Peter, you what?
Well,
Aaron,
you two are still stuck in it.
You guys, when I do
Me?
number,
What am
I'm
I
not
doing?
very good, I'm gonna be honest.
Are you just flipping it right away?
yeah, so when I do 34, you guys, I'm gonna flip it right when I'm writing it. So,
Grady, what am I stuck in?
Let's do it.
What are you laughing at?
It's what Peter used to do, but he's kind of moved on.
What do you mean I'm moving around the area?
all right,
Oh,
no more talking.
Oh.
All right,
I gotta stretch what?
sit.
Bobby?
This isn't like,
Peter's in the way.
you're good, you're good. Sit your butt. Owen, sit.
Can I go to the bathroom, Bob?
God, I love your timing. I mean, that's great.
I finished mine.
Go. All right, when
I
we
spent
look
like
at
2 hours
this
doing
one,
it.
you guys, is there something that you can take out of all of
Sure,
this?
get angry.
A 3, right? And then you would think 3 times what gives you 3a squared, that's a squared. 3 times what gives you 6a, that's 2a. And 3 times what gives you 3, that's 1, okay? Now this one is one we can factor. Now, how are you guys doing with factoring without the box?
Last night, I didn't know what I was doing with, like this one, because there was a 3 in front of the A.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that one out.
Yeah, I don't know how
And
to use the
then,
ones with.
no, but then I asked Siri what it was factored, and then that made me realize how to do it. So now I do know how to do it.
Okay. So if you have,
She works wonders.
if you have two negatives, that means one is plus and one is minus, okay? And if this is a squared, that means you have an a and an a. And if this is minus 10, we want to find two factors of negative 10 that when you add them together gives you a negative 3. What would it be? 2 and 5. And which one would be negative? 5. Perfect. Okay, everybody understand that? And if you ever want to check if you did it right, this is a positive 2a, this is a negative 5a, and if you add that together, you should get this. And is 2a plus a negative 5a negative 3a?
Yeah.
Yes. And you always can use the box if that helps you. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, over here, what is this?
A minus 2 and a plus 2.
Do you guys get that? That's difference of squares. One thing that,
I got that one on my articles.
did you? A plus, so a squared minus 4, that's difference of squares. And when you do difference of squares, remember one's plus, one's minus. If it's a squared, you do a and a. And for here, you do the square root of 4, which is 2 and 2. Do we get that?
Yep.
Okay.
One was the a squared minus the b squared.
A squared minus b squared, and you did difference of squares?
Yeah.
Okay, what do we do here? Shh. What do you do here? What do you take out?
12.
12. And then we are left with a squared minus 1. Okay?
Which is different.
All right, which is difference of squares. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to factor this, and then I'll erase it and put it in here once I'm done. What does a squared plus 2a plus 1 go down to? If it's two plus signs, it's a plus and a plus. If it's a squared, it's a and a. And if this is 1, you're thinking, what are two factors of 1 that when I add them, give me 2?
1.
1 and 1, right?
1.
And then you can check it. This is 1a, this is 1a. Is 1a plus 1a 2a?
Mm-hmm.
It is. So I'm actually going to erase this.
I got a
And
question.
put-
How other way would you get 1 by times it?
Correct.
No
There
other
is
way.
no other way, right?
Yeah.
A plus 1 times a plus 1. Okay, now let's do this little thing here. Do you guys all recognize this as difference of
Yep.
squares?
A minus 1, a plus
A
1.
minus 1, a plus 1. Okay? And it doesn't matter which one you put first. So if you did a plus 1 or a minus 1 first, it doesn't matter. Now,
Oh my
the
God.
whole thing is factored.
Not this one.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, wow.
Now, this whole thing is factored. Do you guys get, I can cross out this a plus 1? Shh. And then do you see something else you can cross out? A plus 2. Anything else? No, right? So your answer would be just everything that's left on top. 3 times a plus 1 times a minus 2 all over a minus 5 times a 12, right? So I put the 12 out front, and then a minus 1.
hey, I got that answer.
Can I reduce something still?
Yeah, no, yes. 1
The
and
12
4.
and the 3, right? 3 and 12 reduced down to 3 over 12 is the same as 1/4. So the 3 I could just erase completely. The 12 is going to become a 4. If you put a 1 on top, that is not wrong. Do we get it?
Yeah,
Any other one from yesterday that you struggled with?
I got that one. You know how? I looked in the book.
Oh, fantastic.
Mhm.
That should help when you get to the test.
It does.
So everybody's okay to move on?
Yep.
Okay. So today we're gonna spend 2 days on this again, and we're gonna be adding and subtracting fractions that have rational expressions. And what that means is you're gonna have 2 or 3 fractions that you're adding or subtracting. And to do that, you have to make sure that you have what's called the least common multiple on the bottom, okay? Some books call it, go ahead. Some books call it least common denominator, and some books call it least common multiple, okay? When you go to add things, just like back when you guys first learned adding fractions back in 5th grade or 4th grade, whenever that was, you thought of what is the smallest number that both 6 and 9 go into. And an easy way to do that, it's not what number goes into both, it's what number does 6 go into and 9 go into. So an easy way to do that is think of multiples of the biggest number, and 9 is bigger. So if I take 9, do you guys agree 6 doesn't divide into 9 evenly? But then if I do the first multiple of 9, 9 times 2 is 18. Does 6 go into 18?
Yep.
Yes. That would be my least common multiple. Okay? Now, let me tell you this too. If you had variables on the bottom, okay? When you're doing, oh yeah. When you're, did anyone else come in late? Oh, Jordan, do you want to? Sure.
Jordan, you just
When you're doing the least common multiple, you guys, and you have variables, when you're doing the least common multiple, you take the highest power of the 2 variables. And a squared is more. So this actually, if I had those, would be 18a squared. Owen, that's enough. Now, that's how to do it if you just have like one term on the bottom. When you have several terms on the bottom, and what I mean by that is things are added or subtracted together, what you have to do is make sure the bottom of each of these is factored as much as you can. If you went and tried to factor this, I'm going to just show it to you. I'm not going to do the work, but I'll show it to you. If you factored this, you would get x minus 2 times x minus 1. Okay? Now this one I will show you. What could I take out of this? A 2, right?
Yeah.
2 times what gives me 2x squared?
Yeah.
2 times what gives me 2x squared? X squared, right? And 2 times what gives me a -2? -1, right? Now, can I factor this more?
Yes.
Okay. What is this?
Take 1.
Difference of squares, and it would be x plus 1, x minus 1. That's what this is. Okay. Now, when you're trying to decide what is the least common multiple of these 2 things, everything that's listed here has to be in your least common multiple. So my least common multiple is going to have an x minus 2. It's going to have an x minus 1. And then when I come over here, everything here has to be in my least common multiple. Notice I don't have a 2 down there yet, so I'd have to add that. The x plus 1 are either of these x plus 1, so I'd have to add that. And this is x minus 1, but that's already there, so I don't rewrite it. Do you get that? So everything here has to be listed down here. The 2 is now, the x plus 1 is, the x minus 1 is, the x minus 2 is, and the x minus 1 is. Are we good with that? Okay. So this here is just asking us from these 3 terms, what would the least common multiple be? When I start off with my numbers, I take my largest number and I start thinking of the multiples. So the first one is 15. 6 does not go into 15. Then I think, what's 15 times 2, and that's 30. Does 6 go into 30? Does 9 go into 30? No. So that one's not going to work. Both 6 and 9 have to go into that least common denominator. What's 15 times 3? 45. Does 6 go into 45?
No.
No. What's 15 times 4? 60. Does 6 go into 60?
No.
Does 9 go into 60?
No.
No. What's 15 times 5? Does 6 go into 75?
No.
No. Okay. 9 does not go into 75 either. What's 15 times 6?
90.
90. Does 6 go into 90?
Yes.
Yes. And if you're not sure, if you're not good with that, do 90 divided by 6 and see if it's a whole number. Okay. And it would be 15. Does 9 go into 90? Yes. So your least common multiple, okay, or least common denominator, whichever way you want to think of it, is going to be 90. And then when you're looking at variables, you want to pick the one that has the highest power of each variable. So this has an x, this has an x squared, this has an x. So what would I put down? X squared. This has a y, this has no y, and this has y to the 4. What would you put down? Y to the 4. Everybody get that? Mason, I would pay attention if I were you. So this is my least common multiple, okay? All right, now let's look at this. They want the least common multiple out of these two. So what I have to do is I have to factor both of them. When I look at the y to the 4th plus 8y to the 3rd plus 15y squared, do you guys see something that I could take out front?
Y to the second.
Y to the 2nd. And then I would think, y to the 2nd times what gives me y to the 4th? Y to the 2nd, right? Plus y to the 2nd times what gives me 8y to the 3rd? 8y. And y to the 2nd times what gives me 15y to the 2nd? 15, okay? Then what I'm going to do is see if I can factor this. So I have my y squared. When you have 3 terms, that's when you're gonna look at doing it this way, or if you just do trial and error, okay? When you have 2 plus signs, that's this row right here. And notice that what they tell us to do if there's 2 plus signs is you have a plus and a plus. If this is y squared, we do a y and a y. And what I want to do is find 2 numbers that multiply to give me 15, that add to give me 8. 5 and 3. If you ever want to check it, this is 5y, this is 3y. If you add it, does it give you 8y? It does. So that's factored. Now we have to factor the other one. Okay, so I have my other one, which was this, y squared minus 3y minus 40. Now that one, I can't take anything out front, okay? But I have what's called a trinomial, 3 terms, so that means I'm going to do this, okay? And so I'm going to put my 2 parentheses down, and when it's minus minus, that means I go to this one, and notice it's plus minus, okay? If that says y squared, what would I put here and here? Y. Now, what you want to think of is what are 2 numbers that give you a negative 40 that add up to negative 3. Negative 8 and 5. Everybody good with that? So now, this is factored all the way. Well, that's a really ugly green. And this is factored all the way, okay? And what we want to do is write down what is our least common multiple or denominator, however way you want to think of that. So everything in this first one has to be listed. So that means I need y to the second, I need y plus 5, and I need y plus 3. Okay? Is the y plus 5 already down here? Is the y minus 8 down here? Is it?
No.
No, so I'd have to add it. I just want to show you one thing. What do you think you would do if you had taken out a y to the 4th in front?
Put it down there.
And would you put it down there, or would you change this one to
Change
y?
that.
Yeah, you would change this, because what you put down here is which one has the highest power of that variable. So then it would become y to the 4th. Do you get that? Okay. Just in case that happens in your assignment. So this is our answer. Oh, crap. This is our answer.
Oh, that's so big.
So y plus 5, y plus 3, y minus 8. Okay? All right, so let's look at the next page here. And again, we want to find that least common denominator or least common multiple of this. And we have 24, 40, and 15.
Which one?
I always start with my highest number, which is 40. Does 24 go into 40? No. Then it's 80. Does 24 go into 80? And if you're not good at that, just go 80 divided by 24. If it gives you a decimal, that means it doesn't, and it doesn't. Then the next multiple of 40 would be 120. Does 24 go into 120? Yes, it does 5 times. Does 40 go into 120? Yes. Does 15 go into 120? Yeah, it's what, 8 times? Okay. So that works, all right? So when we're deciding what is our least common multiple, we have 120. Now for the C here, or what you could do, you could start with that first term, or you could say, I'm going to do these in alphabetical order, and I'm going to start with my A's. What's the biggest number of A's?
A squared.
A squared. What's the biggest number of B's? Just B. Biggest number of C's? C to the 3rd. And biggest number of D's? D to the 4th. Yes. That is our answer. One more, and then we'll get started on actually adding and subtracting. So if I go to factor this, can I take something out?
4.
Okay. 4 times what gives me 4a squared? A squared minus 4 times what gives me 12a? 3a. And 4 times what gives me negative 16? Negative 4. Okay. Now I still need to factor this. And like I said, if you still like to use the box, there's nothing wrong with that. And notice I have minus, minus. With minus, minus, you're going to have one of each. Okay. So we have a plus and a minus. What are 2 factors of a negative 4 that add up to a negative 3? Negative 4 and 1. Okay, that's that one factor. Now let's go to this one. Could you take something out of this? A. A times what gives you a to the 3rd? A to the 2nd. A times what gives you a negative 9 a to the 2nd? Negative 9a. A times what gives you 20a? 20. Okay. Now I still need to factor this. So I'm going to go A, and I have 2 parentheses. Now, when you have a negative middle term and a positive 3rd term, that's the second rule here where they're both negative. So that means it's minus, minus. If that's a squared, it's a and a. What are 2 factors of 20? They're both going to be negative. 4 and 5. Yes. Because negative 4 plus negative 5 is negative 9. Okay. Now we just have to look at each of those and say what the least common denominator is. So least common multiple, if you look at the first one, you're gonna have 4, you're gonna have a plus 1, you're gonna have a minus 4. Okay? Don't I have to fit this a in? So that really I should have put at the beginning. So I'm gonna put 4a at the beginning. A minus 4, is it already accounted for? And then I need an a minus 5. So if they're asking you,
So basically just combining into separate calculations.
yeah. So that's just getting what our denominator is going to be, but they want you to get used to that. And now we're gonna actually go and try to do a problem like this. So let's go to this page, and what they're gonna have us do is add 2 expressions or subtract 2 expressions where they each have a fraction, okay? To do that, if you guys remember way back when, if you were adding 1/2 plus 5/7, do you remember trying to get the same denominator back in elementary or middle school when you did this? Like what goes into both 2 and 7? Or what do 2 and 7 both go into? 14. Now, if you were doing this, even though you might not think about this, you could think of 2 times what gives me 14? 7, right? So that means you have to multiply the top by 7. If the bottom gets multiplied by 7, the top does. And 1 times 7 is 7, okay? This needs to be a 14. It's a 7 right now, so do you get I have to multiply it by 2? And then I'd have to multiply that by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Now these both are over the same denominator, so I put it over that. And what is 7 plus 10? 17. That would be our answer. So you've added those 2 fractions together. Unfortunately, we're not in middle school anymore, so we have to add rational expressions, not add fractions. So here's the deal. First thing you're always going to do is think about what is my least common multiple?
10.
2 and 5 both go into 10, right? And then how many x's would I need? Just 1, right? Because I have 1x here and 1x here. You always take the the largest power of x. And the largest power of x is x. So what that means is I want to get both of these over 10x. Okay? So think about this. What would I have to multiply 2x by to get 10x? 5, right? And then if I multiply something by 5 on the bottom, I have to multiply it by 5 on the top. So 5 times 3y is 15y. Okay? Now again, I want to get 10x on the bottom. So what I'm just giving you the answer. 5x times 2 is 10x, correct? And because I multiplied this by 2, I have to multiply that by 2. So what would go here? 4z, correct? Now they're both over the same denominator. So what I can do then is put these together. So I'd go 15y plus 4z. And that is my answer. Okay. All right. When you have a subtraction, you can get a little bit confused. And so what I do all the time, if I have a subtraction, I change this to a plus sign and I change that to a negative sign. Every single time I have a subtraction, I make this plus and I make that minus. Now let's talk about what would my LCM be. So think of 14, the multiples of 14. Does 8 go into 14? No. 14 times 2 is 28. Does 8 go into 28? No. Then 14 times 3 is 42. Does 8 go into 42? Hold on, am I wrong there? 14 times 3 That's 42, and 8 doesn't go in there. 14 times 4 would be what, 56? Does 8 go into 56? Yes. So this, the least common multiple is going to be 56. And then do you see how I need 2 C's for this one and 4 C's for that one? So how many C's would I want? 4, always the highest power. I need 2 D's here and 1 D here. So how many D's would I need? 2, the highest power, okay? So now I know what I want underneath each of these is 56, C to the 4th, D to the 2nd. Okay? Then I have to ask myself, how would I get 56 C to the 4th, D to the 2nd? What would I have to multiply 8 C squared D squared by?
7.
7, and do I need some C's? C to the 2nd, okay? And because I multiplied that by 7 C to the 2nd, I have to multiply this by 7 C to the 2nd. So what's going to be on top there is 7 C squared Y squared, okay? Now let's go to this. What do I have to multiply this by to get 56, first of all? 4. Do I have as many C's as I need? Do I have enough D's? You have to multiply by a D, right? So that means this negative 3x is multiplied by 4D. And what is negative 3x times a positive 4D? Negative 12, and this is picky again, but they want you to put the D and the X in alphabetical order, so DX.
What if we don't?
That's, the only time it's bad is if you have 2 terms where you write one as 12dx and one as, say, negative 13xd, and you didn't notice they're the same. Because really, these are the same. dx and xd are the same, so that's why they have you write it in alphabetical, because then you would have wrote this that way, and you'd see that you can combine. Okay? All right, now let's put this all together. So it's going to be over 56 C to the 4th, D to the 2nd, and on the top, I have 7C squared Y squared minus 12dx. And I can't combine these two because they have different variables. Yes?
On the top should be 10x instead of 10c.
This
No, above the problem.
over here?
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Sorry.
So,
Still looking at that one?
I'm all confused.
All right. So this is our answer. Okay? So now I think we have one more page. We have 3.
We don't have to do it.
Well, it's day 1 and day 2.
This is actually to get
My brain is
through
fried.
this. Actually, if we got this far, we'd be okay.
Do we get an assignment today then?
My brain is fried.
How about,
If we keep teaching, but I
how
would.
about this? If we stopped right now without an assignment, would you guys be quiet?
Yes.
Okay,
Just want to move it.
deal. So we'll actually spend 3 days on this, okay? All right.
But is this the assignment?
There is, oh, you have that worksheet already? Did I give you it? No, that's not the worksheet for today. Should I give you a couple problems on it today
No.
so that you don't have so much tomorrow?
I'd say,
Well, tomorrow is the weekend.
someone's got a test.
Okay.
I'm doing the homework over the
If you give us the numbers to do
Yes.
today, it's not
Sunday
homework.
night.
How many?
How about that? Can you hand them out and I'll tell you guys which ones you know how to do, and then you could make up the choice if you want to do some tonight. Deal?
Oh, that's, yeah, I like that, because if I have extra time, then I still can.
Yes, just let me give. Yes, hand that out.
Oh my god. Of course.
Man, yeah.